Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the Pride Lands, but we're going way back, before the reign of before the tragedy of his fall, and even before the birth of the iconic villain we all love to hate. Scar, we're going to explore a story that Israeli told, a tale whispered on the winds of the savannah. The story of Scar's parents. Woe were they, what were they like? And how did their union create a lion who would forever change the destiny of the Pride Lands? Get ready, because this is the story of the lions who started it all. Now, the Lion King franchise itself doesn't give us the names of Mufasa and Scar's parents. They're simply known as the king and queen who preceded Mufasa. But thanks to the expanded universe, particularly the Lion Guard and the book series A Tale of Two Brothers, we can piece together their identities. Their names were Ahadi and Uru. He was depicted as a strong, wise, and respected ruler. Ahadi took his responsibilities very seriously. She was described as having a beautiful, earthy brown coat, a stark and lovely contrast to Ahadi's bright gold. Uru, she was a leader in her own right, balancing Ahadi's stern sense of duty with her own brand of gentle strength, leading their kingdom through droughts and challenges with grace and power. Their firstborn was Mufasa. He was strong, charismatic, and kind. As a result, Ahadi poured all his time and energy into training Mufasa. The Pride Lands celebrated the birth of their future king, and all seemed right with the world. But then, their second son was born. This cub was smaller and weaker than his brother. He didn't have the brilliant golden fur of his father and brother. Instead, he had his mother's earthy brown coat, but with his father's striking green eyes. They named him Taka. In Swahili, the name Taka can mean dirt or trash. Now, why would they give him such a name? It's a question that has puzzled fans for years. Some theories suggest it was simply a name, without ill intent. But other interpretations paint a darker picture. Perhaps from the very beginning, Taka was seen as less than his magnificent older brother Mufasa. This perception, this name, may have been the very first seed of resentment planted in the young cub's heart. As the two brothers grew, the differences in their upbringing became stark. Mufasa was the center of Ahadi's world. He was the heir, the future, the priority. Ahadi spent countless hours with Mufasa, teaching him how to be king. But where was Ahadi for his second son, Taka? The story suggests that Ahadi, so focused on his heir and his royal duties, largely neglected Taka. He saw Taka's smaller stature and less kingly appearance, and perhaps dismissed him. This left Taka feeling overlooked, ignored, and unimportant. He was constantly living in the shadow of his perfect older brother, starved for the attention and approval of a father who seemed to have little to spare. While Ahadi was distant, Uru, their mother, tried to bridge the gap. She loved both her sons dearly and saw the growing rift between them. She would spend time with Taka, comforting him and trying to build his confidence. She told him that strength wasn't just about size or power, but also about intelligence and wit, qualities Taka had in abundance. Uru was his champion, his source of comfort in a world where he felt like a perpetual second best. She tried to balance Ahadi's neglect with her own affection, but a mother's love, however strong, couldn't completely shield Taka from the pain of his father's indifference and the weight of his brother's shadow. This family dynamic is where the tragedy of Scar truly begins. It wasn't born in a moment of evil, but nurtured over years of neglect and favoritism. Imagine being a young lion, constantly told you're not as good, not as strong, not as important as your brother. Imagine your own father, the king, barely acknowledges your existence except to compare you unfavorably to the golden child. This is the environment where Taka's jealousy and bitterness took root. He loved his mother, but he craved his father's respect. Mufasa, for his part, wasn't malicious. He was simply living the life he was born into. Unaware of the deep-seated resentment growing in his younger brother, the stage was set for a tragedy, and it all stemmed from the choices made by their parents, Ahadi and Uru. And that brings us to the pivotal moment, the event that transformed Taka into Scar. According to A Tale of Two Brothers, a jealous Taka was tricked by a trio of mischievous hyenas. They convinced him that if he could make Mufasa look bad in front of their father, Ahadi would finally be impressed with him. The plan was to lure Mufasa to a waterhole where a Cape buffalo named Boma was refusing to share water. Taka believed if he could defeat Boma, he would be a hero. He told Mufasa to go tell their father about Boma's stubbornness, secretly hoping Mufasa would get in trouble. But the plan backfired horribly. The buffalo, angered by Taka's arrogance, attacked him. Mufasa, ever the hero, returned just in time to save his brother, but not before Taka was struck by the buffalo's horns, receiving a permanent scar over his eye. When a wounded Taka returned to Pride Rock, he hoped for sympathy, especially from his father. Instead, Ahadi was furious, not just at Taka's recklessness, but at the manipulative nature of his plan. In that moment, Taka, in a fit of bitter irony and defiance, declared that he would no longer be called Taka. From that day on, he wanted to be known as Scar, a permanent physical reminder of his father's perceived betrayal and the foolish mistake that marked him forever. This wasn't just a name change. It was a transformation. It was the death of a hopeful young cub named Taka and the birth of the bitter, calculating villain, Scar. Ahadi and Uru's family was now irrevocably broken. Their legacy was no longer just about a future king. It was now also about a prince cloaked in darkness, his heart scarred as deeply as his face. And that is the tragic origin story of how Ahadi and Uru's union led to the creation of one of Disney's greatest villains. It is a powerful reminder that the stories of our heroes and villains often begin long before they take center stage, rooted in the families that raised them. What do you think? Was Scar destined to be evil, or was he a product? Ahadi the king is portrayed as a strong and responsible ruler. He's often busy with his royal duties. He's the one who gets all the attention from their father, Ahadi, while Taka is left on the sidelines. Can you imagine how that must feel? To be a prince, yet treated like your second best. Or worse, not good enough at all. This is where the first seeds of resentment are planted. Yes, the very same trio we know from the movie. They tell Taka that if he can make Mufasa look foolish and cowardly, then their father, Ahadi, will surely see Taka as the stronger son. The plan is simple. Taka will lure Mufasa to a watering hole where a grumpy buffalo named Boma is known to be territorial. The hyenas suggest Taka should challenge Mufasa to a fight with Boma, knowing Mufasa would likely refuse, making him look weak. Taka, blinded by his desire for approval, agrees. He goes to Mufasa and taunts him, saying Boma has claimed the watering hole and Mufasa is too scared to do anything about it. Mufasa, being the responsible older brother, tries to reason with Taka, explaining that, as future king, he can't just pick fights. But Taka's words get under his skin. He calls Mufasa a coward. This pushes Mufasa to prove him wrong, so they go to the watering hole to confront Boma. But the plan goes horribly wrong. Instead of just backing down, Boma becomes enraged. He charges, not at Mufasa, but at Taka. Mufasa, showing his true kingly nature, leaps to his brother's defense. But he's not fast enough to prevent Boma's horns from slashing across Taka's eye. The attack leaves a deep, permanent wound. This physical scar becomes a symbol of his emotional pain, a constant reminder of his failure and his father's perceived rejection. When Ahadi finds out what happened, he's furious, but his anger is directed mainly at Taka for endangering his brother and for his foolishness. There's no comfort, no sympathy, just disappointment. In that moment, Taka decides to embrace his new identity. He tells his family to call him Scar from now on, to forever remember his mistake. He turns his name of shame, Taka, into a name of pain and anger, Scar. This is the tragic origin story of how he got his scar and his name. It wasn't a noble battle, it was a failed attempt to win his father's love. Now, let's talk about the bloodline itself. There are theories within the fandom that Scar's darker fur, his green eyes, and his slender build suggest he might not be Ahadi's biological son, or that Queen Uru had ancestry from outside the Pride Lands. In some versions of the story, Uru is said to come from a neighboring pride, bringing with her different genetic traits. This could explain why Scar looks so different from Mufasa and Ahadi. This physical difference would have made him stand out even more, possibly contributing to his feeling of being an outsider within his own family. Imagine being constantly compared to your golden-haired, robust brother while you're seen as the dark, scrawny one. It's a classic trope, but it adds another layer to Scar's deep-seated insecurities. His lineage isn't just about his parents, it's also about what he represents. Scar is the manifestation of what happens when ambition is curdled by neglect and jealousy. He's the spare to the heir, a role that has historically been fraught with conflict in royal families, both real and fictional. His intelligence, which is arguably his greatest strength, becomes his most dangerous weapon. While Mufasa was being trained in leadership and responsibility, Scar was observing, learning, and plotting from the shadows. His mind, sharpened by years of feeling overlooked, became his path to power. He couldn't win with brute strength like Mufasa, so he had to win with cunning and manipulation. This backstory makes his actions in The Lion King so much more complex. When he sinks be prepared, it's not just about a sudden desire for the throne. It's the culmination of a lifetime of bitterness. His line, "I'm from the shallow end of the gene pool," is dripping with a sarcasm born from years of feeling genetically inferior to his perfect brother. His alliance with the hyenas isn't just a strategic move. It has a reunion with the only creatures who ever seemed to give him a sense of belonging, even if they were manipulating him for their own ends back when he was a cub. The tragedy of Scar is that he may have had the potential to be a great leader in his own right, perhaps a wise advisor or the leader of the Lion Guard, a position often held by the king's second-born. But the constant negative reinforcement from his father and the shadow of his brother twisted that potential into something dark and destructive. He was never taught the circle of life in the same way Mufasa was. He only saw a system that placed him at the bottom, and his response was to try and break it entirely. His reign as king is a disaster precisely because he rules from a place of selfishness and revenge, not from a place of balance and respect for life, which are the lessons he never truly learned. So, when we rewatch The Lion King with this knowledge, Scar is no longer just a one-dimensional villain. He's a tragic figure, a product of his environment and his upbringing. His evil wasn't born in a vacuum. It was cultivated over years of pain, jealousy, and a desperate, unfulfilled need for love and acceptance. Does this excuse his terrible actions? Absolutely not. He was still responsible for his choices, but it does make him a far more compelling and understandable character. The shadow that fell over the Pride Lands didn't just appear out of nowhere. It began long ago, with a little cub named Taka, who just wanted his father to be proud of him. What do you guys think? Does knowing Scar's backstory change how you see him? Do you feel any sympathy for him? Or is he still the ultimate Disney villain in your eyes? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I love reading your different perspectives on these classic stories. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Lion King lore, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.